In this video, I'm going to go over 10 things that you should do to your Traxxas Sledge before you ever even drive it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Troy and this is Roadside RC. What you'll tend to find me doing on the channel is crawling and bashing, drifting and racing, plus product review videos and how-tos. And I picked up this Traxxas Sledge, got it straight, first one that I could get in Tennessee from Cookeville Hobbies, literally one of the earliest ones out. Been driving it, as you can see, it's nice and dirty. Been having a blast with it, really fun truck. And I've come up with 10 things based on my experience and other people's experience with it that I would suggest you either look at or pay attention to right before you even drive the truck or in those first early runs. Let's get right to it. Item number one is all about protecting this really good looking body that you get with this truck. There's two things that you need to do to it. First is trimming this front bumper. So you can see here right now that it has this lip that sticks down, and you can see how nasty mine is. Whenever you get a big hit, it pops in right behind the front bumper there. All you got to do is simply come in here, as I'm going to show you, and trim out this bottom lip, and it will no longer do that. With this done, the second part of this mod is underneath the body. There are some common places under here where you can see the shock towers and other parts rubbing. Plus you tend to get some damage around these edges here over time. So what we do is we put tape in there to help protect that. Item number two is all about keeping your battery in your truck. Traxxas hyped up this battery latch system a lot, but the truth is, it's kind of junk, if I'm honest. It's not really very good. The strap system, Velcro system that you see in a lot of vehicles really is superior. One of the things that happens is as you're bashing, the battery tray will actually come loose, which means you need to use some level of little pins in here and to provide them in. Now my truck did not come with them at all, so I just had to raid my parts bin. So clearly item number two, you need to get some body pins in order to help keep this battery door closed, because once you slide it into that hole, it can't come out. You can see I simply did here one zip tie loosely around the T-bar, one zip tie between it and the pin. That way when you take it off, you can set it to the side. You're not going to lose it while you're out bashing around. Tip number three is about these dog bones and the pins on them. So you have an outer here, you have on the inside, you have both of them here. The center drive shaft right here at the center diff, both front and rear. And then you have both sides on the rears. After your first couple runs, give them a check. There's multiple people that have had them working loose. We've had some people even hurt their ESC because the pin came loose and literally started eating into the side of the ESC. So this is after the first couple runs, make sure they're not starting to stick out on one side. Make sure they're not starting to work loose. Item number four is the tires. So the tires, we have had some people with issues with the tires coming unglued, which is really funny since you, again, Traxxas made such a big deal about their improved gluing methods, but you can even see mine here, right here, that's all solid. And as you work it around, you see that area right there where it's starting to come loose, right? So this is something that you need to check. All you simply do, get yourself some good old super glue of some kind, and then check all the tires and go around. So you want to see something like this. You want to see when you pull it apart that it is very solid to the wheel. If you start to see, like I have right here, where you start to see that gap, stick a little bit of glue in there and let that come back down. Outside and inside of all four tires, give them a shot. Item number five is still right here with the tires. So the truck comes with vent holes on the inside of the rims, but the tires themselves are actually not vented at all. There's no holes in it. I am a personal believer in venting my tires to make sure that when I do run it in the wet, any kind of water or anything can work its way out instead of shredding the tire. We've had multiple people, especially running on 6S, shred the tires up so far. How I do that is simple. An aluminum rod, right? A hollow tube, aluminum tube, cut off works really well. You then take it, center line of the tire, and it pokes one just beautiful hole in that tire. And what I do is I then rotate it around, and I do it about 4 times on every tire. So there's another one. Rotate it again 90 degrees. Obviously it's a little bit easier if you're not holding a camera in your hand while you're trying to do it. But just like that, and you have 4 beautiful holes in your tire that will let the water come out instead of shredding your tire. Item number 6 is a very simple one, which is these wires, these motor wires, plus if you run a fan like I have, which is also recommended, if you do that, you have a lot of wires that are running here really close to the pinion. It is tied right here at this bottom, so in theory they should be fine, but what I did is I went ahead and zip tied all these together over here on the side, just to make sure that everything is away from that pinion. So just make sure that as your truck is assembled out of the box, that's not an issue. Item number 7 is about this wing mount system back here. I've seen many people rip the wing through this, which is honestly a little surprising. It's pretty dang strong, but they actually pull the screw head through the wing. So what you can see I did here, and what I'm about to show you, is take the screw out and find yourself just a flat washer, something strong that can help disperse that load even wider than what it already is, and that seems to really help with this a lot. Item number 8, front, center, rear diffs. If you're really worried about it, you can go ahead and access the diffs, take them apart before you ever drive it, check to make sure what the fluid levels is. And there's been many folks that have found fluid levels are below what they really like, especially too thin or too low in the center diff, ballooning the front tires a bunch, especially on 6S. I personally don't like doing that before I ever drive a vehicle. I'm going to drive it first, see how it feels, see if it drives to my liking. Then I'm going to go to that effort to take these apart, access them, and change them. Personally, with my truck, as it came to me, I've been very happy with how it drives. I have not felt a need to do that. However, I am about to make a video showing how to access each one of them and looking at the fluids that are in it. Item number 9 is about these rear diff cups and a inclusion or lack of some little rubber O-rings in there from the factory. So if you can take your rear dog bones and wiggle them back and forth to where, with the suspension fully extended up, that they look like they're going to fall out, then probably you don't have them in there from the factory. It's really easy if you take either the wheel off, or if you take this one upper link off, the whole suspension will line out. You can look in there and see if you have some O-rings. Honestly, mine didn't have them. I drove it a bunch, never had an issue. I think this whole O-ring, included or not included, is truly blown out of proportion. If you read online on social media, I don't think it's nearly as big a deal as everybody's making it out to be. I've driven it with and without the O-rings and had 0 durability differences. But if you are just really worried about it, one screw up here, the whole thing flops out. And then I found some O-rings from some old shocks that I had, and just stuffed one in there. Like, it's really not that big a deal. You don't have to go complaining and blowing up the internet or blowing up Traxxas about it. Just shove a random O-ring in there. And last but not least, number 10, before you drive your truck, go around, make sure that nothing just seems loose, right? If you want to take your driver and you want to hit a couple screws just to make sure they're tight, that's fine. I always check the wheels. The wheels are a very easy one for someone to accidentally leave loose during assembly, and that really ruins your day if you strip out a hex. So go through not all the screws, but just make sure, like as you come through, anything that moves, anything that seems important, like turnbuckles and all this kind of stuff. On the bottom of the chassis, lots of screws here that mount a lot of things. Just make sure that they're tight. That's all it is. It's not a big deal. Takes maybe 5 minutes to go over everything and you're in business. Just don't want anything to fall off on that first run. And there you go. That is my 10 suggestions for things that you should look at before you ever even drive your Traxxas Sledge or within the first couple of runs. So please let me know. I would love for this video to be really useful for folks. So if you already own a Sledge, did you have any specific issues? Leave a comment down below. I'd love for this video in the comment section to just really be useful for a whole bunch of people. So if you have any other suggestions, put them down there so other folks can see them. I'm going to get to working on some other things for this truck. If you need to see any other videos about it that I've made, there should be a link right over here to my whole Traxxas Sledge playlist. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.